20 days of the war in Ukraine, and there are reports that suggest Russia simply wasn't prepared for this kind of a long-term war. Our next news break also suggests exactly that Russia is now reaching out to China for help with food packets for their troops, for their soldiers on the ground in Ukraine. Now, sources have said that among Russia's requested aid from China are packaged non-perishable military food kits known in the United States as ready-to-eat meals. Sources have added that the request confirms the underlying logistical problems that military analysts and officials say are hampering Russian progress in Ukraine. It also raises questions about the serious unpreparedness of the Russian military. We've been getting you a number of reports on this front also, but experts talking about Russia also not being very prepared for this war, which is why it's raged on for 20 days now. And the information that we're picking up, if these reports are to be believed, it confirms exactly that. The fact that Russia is now seeking help from China, and that too, they're seeking a lot more military aid, food packets for their soldiers. Now, the world is watching warily because of all the multiple reports that suggest that Russia has reached out to China now for help in the Ukraine war. There was a round of talks that happened between the United States and China in Rome on Monday, where the US sent across a very stern message to China, saying that if they choose to help Russia in this war, they will face global isolation, that sanctions that have been imposed by all countries, more or less, against Russia will also happen against China.
Tight security outside this hotel in Rome marked the high-stakes diplomacy inside. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan pressed Washington's message on a Chinese diplomat, asking Beijing not to take additional actions to support Moscow amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The White House described the 7-hour sit-down between Sullivan and Yang Jiechi as intense, reflecting what it called the gravity of the moment. Sullivan warned China of the economic penalties and global isolation it would face if it continues to support Russia in its invasion of Ukraine. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
Should they provide military or other assistance that, of course, violates sanctions or supports the war effort, that there will be significant consequences. But in terms of what those specifics look like, we would coordinate with our partners and allies to make that determination.
Psaki said the meeting had been scheduled for some time, adding,
it was a timely and important moment to have this conversation.
It took place as the U.S. told allies in NATO that China had signaled its willingness to provide military and economic aid to Russia to support its war. But China on Monday said reports of such a request from Russia was merely U.S. disinformation. Russia, too, denied it had asked China for military assistance and said it had sufficient military clout to fulfill all of its aims in Ukraine. U.S. officials and allies have tried to make clear to Beijing in recent weeks that siding with Russia could carry consequences for trade flows, development of new technologies, and could expose it to secondary sanctions. China, a key trading partner of Russia, has refused to call Moscow's actions an invasion, although China's President Xi Jinping last week did call for maximum restraint and expressed concern about the impact of Western sanctions on the global economy.